Shalom, shalom again to the house of Israel. This is Dr. Yoshiyahu, and I'm the Moreh at the Awakening Remnant Coalition. We are studying currently Nehemiah and the rebuilding of the wall. And we've done several videos. At this point, I was beginning to talk about how, how we really need our wall, but how the world we live in today, the society that we are in, it has taught us, unfortunately, and that's whether you were religious or not, but for sure if you was caught up in a religious institution, namely like say Christianity or something like, or one of their offshoots, you were actually taught to hate the Torah. And therefore, because the Torah or the laws of Yah have become sort of repulsive, you hold them in disdain, you hate them, which I mentioned before in the previous video. It has to do with separate. Then it makes it difficult when you wake up to actually know that there are laws. There's Torah, and that we have to abide by these laws. And the laws were not written by us, not written by us coming out of our mind, but came literally out of the mind of Yah to Moshe, and then through the prophets, and then the apostles, and then to us. And the laws of Yah are the wall that surrounds us and that keeps us. And we'll get into that a little later. But I wanted to get into this part of it to show or to prove that there is going to be, there's a difficulty that we have in rebuilding the wall because of our attitudes toward it. And again, many of us don't even realize how much we hate Torah and how much we hate Yah's laws and how much how we have such an immediate knee-jerk reaction to anything that Yah tells us to do. We have a problem with it off the bat. And that lets us know a couple of things. One, all Israel's not Israel, but it also lets us know how far we are from the very heart of Yah and the life of Yah and the pathway or the righteous path of the Torah, the righteous path of the covenant is seen in our reaction. And I'm talking now even to people who so-called woke up. Now the slumber bruised, these are people that are still asleep, still caught up. Yes, they may be bloodline, but they don't understand the Torah. They still in other things. We're not talking to them right now. Well, I am talking to them, but I want to talk to the remnant primarily, those of you who are waking up to truth. Let's talk to the men of Israel first. So again, as always, I'm going to begin everything with the man. I am 100% convinced that Abba Yah has put leadership in the hands of the men. Whether the men have dropped the ball or not, whether the men are not carrying their weight, we're not even going to talk about that right now because that's not my point. My point is there has been an established order in Torah. And I can't bring in what I think and what I feel, or you can't bring in what you think and what you feel into the Torah. So I always start with the men because I believe that by speaking to the men, it establishes or helps to establish proper order. So I mentioned knee-jerk reactions in the last video. I'm going to prove it right now. I want to show you, and hopefully if I show you how you naturally react to certain things, you'll be able to tell whether or not you are in this remnant. All right? You'll be able to tell whether or not that you're not just Israel by name, but you're Israel by covenant and Israel by being a chosen part of the remnant. I'm just going to mention some things in the Torah, and then you tell me how you feel. All right, here we go. Very first one, I'm talking to the men. All right, so if we're going to reestablish the wall, we need every man to pay a tenth of their income toward the work of the kingdom. Every man set aside 1/10 based on how Yah has prospered you. Set it aside to be used in the kingdom. What's wrong? See, right off the see how you understand that? Do you know what I just said now came straight out of the Bible? That came out of Torah. And the knee-jerk reaction, a tenth of my act, man, please. I ain't finna. Right there, you can see, you got a problem with Torah. And therefore, many men don't want Torah rebuilt. If Torah is rebuilt, that means 10% of all our income I should say, the wall of Torah. 10% automatically goes to those who have been chosen to teach and to preach and to work in the house of Israel, right? And bring another one. Men, love your wives as Yah has loved the assembly and gave his life for them. Man, please. Man, he don't know my wife. Man, see? Immediate. You get a command to love a person to the point where you will die for them. Now, reaction is, but she is, but he don't know. Man, I got. It's a reaction. How about this one? Study to show yourself approved. That means every day. Man, when last time you studied the Bible? Well, first of all, man, I don't think it's really necessary. See? Excuses. There's laws given. In his law, do I meditate both day and night. But then when someone says you need to do this as a part of the remnant, how about this one? I can go on the list of them. You must memorize scripture. No, don't take all that. When you go to work, you cannot cheat on your job. What you mean, man? You can't always be trying to get by and steal and do shady things. You got to give an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. Watch this. Even if the boss ain't look, man, you going too far with that, man. Everybody. All right, let's go to the next one. Love your neighbor as yourself. Man, first of all, man, what do you mean by love? Number two, who's my neighbor? We heard both of them before. Another one. You got to change your diet. Cannot continue to eat irresponsible. You got to look at your food and make sure not only is it kosher, but that it is going to help your physical body and your physical temple. Why? Because I by Yah has it. Man, first of all, I don't think that that's all that. See, for everything that the Torah says, and believe me, every one of these things I'm saying, I got them out of Torah. Everything I'm telling you is a verse in the Bible. What else? Honor your father and your mother. Not just your mom. Honor your father and your mother. Man, first of all, I know what he's saying, but I didn't even know my father. My father was there. Or my father. Oh, so how are we going to build a wall? Every single time we mention something in the Torah, you got a negative reaction. Let's keep going. Remember the Shabbat to keep it holy. When does the Shabbat actually start? Remember the Shabbat to keep it holy. So does he mean like the nighttime and the daytime, or just during the day? Woo! You Israelites. Going fishing, no catfish, no shrimp, and no lobster. Well, first, okay, wait, hold on. Man, what actually is wrong with the catfish? We ain't talking about right or wrong with the catfish. Y'all said don't eat it. No, don't eat no shrimp. He said, man, that thing ain't got no fins and no scales. It's off limit. Well, I mean, ain't no wrong every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Also, you don't want the wall. Let's keep going. We ought to pray 3 times a day, given that example. It's called the hour of prayer. And Daniel is a great example of that. He was so committed to his prayer life that he was thrown in a lion's den behind him. Well, first of all, man, when I wake up in the morning, man, I'll be so tired. And by the time I get to work, I'm like, oh, okay. So that can't. So what you're really saying is, you don't want to build this wall back up. How about this one? Thou shalt not commit adultery. No adultery. It's out. You can't do it. Man, first of all, wait a minute. Hold on, man. Hold on, what? Like, thou shalt not commit adultery. I mean, I understand that, but more, man, my situation, man, is so complicated. Okay, so what you're saying is, you don't want this wall built. Because these are the things that got to go in the wall. You can't whore out the daughters of Zion. And that means you can't be a whoremonger. Right? More. But you can't covet what someone else has. You can't wish you got what they got and you got. You can't do that. Well, there you go. What? So are you saying you don't want Torah? Because this is the wall that protects our people. We have to keep the feast. No paganism whatsoever. And we can't lie. We can't bear false witness against our neighbor, our brother. We cannot bring an accusation against someone without at least 2 or 3 witnesses. I think you're catching my point. To build the wall, the remnant has to be in agreement that we need that wall to protect the house of Israel. But if every time we get ready to put a brick up to build the wall, we got the same brother talking about we need the wall, saying, but don't put that brick up. Don't do that one. Don't put that one up. Don't do this one. Don't put that one. I like this one, but not that one. We're never going to get it built, and our houses are going to be destroyed. And that's why I'm convinced just to work with the remnant. Who is the remnant, Moray? The people who hear the Torah and have the attitude of David. Yes, Grandpa David, David our king. His attitude was never, I don't like the law. His attitude was always, I love Torah. All of his laws, all of his statutes, all of his commandments. That is the most perfect way to live, and he was grateful that Yah had given him that way to live. You ought to read what your grandpa wrote concerning Torah, and then compare his attitude toward the laws to your attitude and see if they line up. And yes, Grandpa would be in the remnant. So we need to line up our lives also with the Torah. Now, in the next video, it's obvious I'm going to talk about what? I'm going to talk about the women. I talked about the men in this video. It showed us how we don't want certain parts of the wall built. All right, then we got the same problem on the other side with our women. We'll look at that in the next video. One love, Zion. Whether it's tight, you know it's right. You can research everything I said, and you'll find verses to back it up, because before I came online, I made sure that everything I said was taken out of one of the Bible verses, one of the verses that's in our Holy Bible. Support the work of the art. We're going to continue to support you. One love. We got to build this wall, Zion. It's for the salvation of the house of Israel. The remnant. Shalom.